we got? Where did you put it at?
There's a couple,
Oh, okay.
there's a few over there.
And thank you everybody for coming out. We got a nice little crowd here. Dwayne, good to see you. I didn't see you walk in. Anyway, if we can get started, I'll let Judge take over and kind of lay out the guidelines of what he's going to do today.
Okay, just so everybody knows, I think I explained this last year as well. I am an independent moderator of this. That's it. That's the only interest I have in it. That and the fact that this is my community. And I have no idea why that's happening. I'm so sorry. This is my community and I love my community. And there's nothing I would not do for my community. And that includes to ensure you have all the information possible to vote on. That's what I'm doing here. Now, here's the rules as have been set out or developed by the folks who are presenting this. And I know it's not a city function, but I don't know exactly who is handling it as far as sponsoring it. However, the rules are as follows. We're going to open with 2 minutes for each of you to introduce yourselves. You don't have to use the whole 2 minutes, but at the end of 2 minutes, you'll either hear an alarm go off or hear me say thank you, one or the other, to bring it to an end and move on to the next party. As everyone knows, I had nothing to do with the seating arrangement. It's completely random. They sat where they chose to sit. But I am going to choose where we start, where we end, and then how the questions go. After you've introduced yourselves, then I am going to begin the questions. The questions will work like this. They are folded up in a hat. They are from the citizens of this community. I haven't even read them. They will be brought up in a hat to each person, whoever's going to go first, and I will decide that. You will draw a question out. Once you draw it out, do not read it. Just hand it back to the lady. She'll give it to me. I'll read it to you. You'll answer the question. Nobody will answer the same question. No two people will answer the same question. However, if you take notes and decide that you want to respond to whatever question had been answered earlier, you may. You will have 2 minutes to close as well at the end of it. What I'm trying to do is make sure that we wrap up everything at around 11:15 at the latest, so that you have an opportunity to engage with the folks who are here. More importantly, so the folks who are here have an opportunity to ask you additional questions that we weren't able to get to. And those will be, that will happen, obviously. Does anybody have any questions as far as that goes? Okay.
Anybody in the audience? No questions? Okay.
Okay, those are the basic rules. And again, I did not come up with the rules, but I will enforce those rules. Does that make sense to everyone?
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay, so what we're going to do is start from my left to my right. Sir, you will be opening first. You have 2 minutes. Go.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank all of you for coming today. Everybody that came. I really appreciate you supporting our community, supporting our city. My name is Kevin Featherston. I've been on the council for 2 terms. I'm running this year unopposed, so this will be my 3rd term for the council as place 1. It has been challenging, but then yet rewarding. The challenge was in the beginning, and my last term has been rewarding. So I'm very thankful that I'm able to run again for council. I am unopposed, but still had a choice whether or not I wanted to run. And I'm very grateful that my family allowed me to run and I'm able to run. So I look forward to it. I feel like that this last term has been a success. And I think that we've gained some traction. And I look forward to kind of taking off, right? We're in that stage, in my opinion, from what I've been able to be involved with council. I've lived in West Tawakoni for 14 years now. Been in the area for my entire life. I grew up in what is now called Hawk Cove, and went to Cleveland High School, graduated there, and got 6 kids, now 4 grandkids. And out of my 6 kids, I have 3 of them that live in our city. 1 of my grandkids live in our city, and I'm vested. I don't know how else to explain. I guess how incorporated I am to the success of this city. And I look forward, even as a council person or as a citizen, to keep driving that through. And thank y'all again.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect time.
Ma'am, you have 2 minutes. Go.
I want to thank everybody for coming out as well. My name is Lana Massey. I'm running for seat 5 against Christopher Burkett. I've been out here for 11 years. My mom's been out here for 20. So I've also been out here for about that amount of time off and on until I moved out here permanently. I love this little town more than I can really put into words. I grew up in Garland and Dallas throughout high school. So when I moved out here, it was really like a breath of fresh air to have that small town community that, like, I was used to going out to Gilmer where my dad was from, and that little small town community feel was here, and I really enjoyed it. And I was really super excited. I am really super excited for my son to feel that community as well. And so he's 20 years old now, and he's been out here his entire life. And I think that we all want to see West Tawakoni start making some forward momentum. The cities all around us are growing like by leaps and bounds. So the blueprints are there. And I think that it's time for us to make momentum on our own before we get run over by Rockwall or by Greenville or by some of these other towns that are getting bigger and bigger as we just kind of stay confined in our little zones. So I really want to focus on citizen input and our economy and growing both of those. I think that we've got a lot of housing infrastructure happening and developments fixing to happen and stuff. So the next thing that needs to happen is businesses, so that all those new people that are going to move here don't have to go to Quinlan and take their money to Quinlan and take their money to Greenville. They need to keep their money here. So that's kind of what I want to focus on when I win council. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, 2 minutes. Go.
Good morning, everybody. I also want to thank you for being here. I know on a Saturday morning, coming to sit here, it's probably not how you would prefer to spend your time, but thank you regardless. As many of you know, I see all familiar faces in this room. I have been in leadership roles and spanning from advertising to marketing to technology for the last 25 years, all in leadership roles. I have been a part of a federally funded program that was a $1.8 billion, not million, $1.8 billion project that spanned 2 years that I had a very large part in. My husband and I, Dan, right there in the corner, have lived here for about 6 years. Right from the get-go, when we moved here, I started getting involved. I was the local HOA president, did some volunteer work, helped get our community in a better order than it was prior to, and I look forward to doing the same thing for the city of West Tawakoni. I already have a great relationship with the city council, and I look forward to growing that. One thing that I think that is missing that I know that I can help with is a vision for the community and pushing the ball forward. So we've got lots of great things that are in place, but I think that we can be doing a lot more to, like Lana said, bring a business in, bring the jobs here. And if y'all didn't see my videos, Chief Alderson had made a comment that 50,000 unique vehicles travel our roads every month on 276. And those people are passing us by. They're not giving us their dollars. There's no, they're not giving us our dollars. They're not stopping here. They're not investing here. So I want to be a part of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay, I think everybody here knows me. I'm Pam Reed, and I have been on this lake since I was a little girl because I went out fishing with my dad here. And so whenever we retired and we were trying to think of how to be closer to my dad, we came here is one of the reasons because of this lake. And I have loved the people here because I have come to know them personally, one-on-one. And I just have been working like 40 hours a week almost every single week since I've been on council for the last 2.5 years, to try to better this town. I get up in the morning and I get on the computer and I try to see what businesses maybe we can bring here. I contact a lot of businesses during the thing. And you know, I've worked on the EDC board, and I've worked on the Tawakoni Civic Club, and I've worked on the chamber, and I've done all of these things trying to bring businesses to our town. And I have been successful in that. We have gotten the EDC property now that has been sold over there across the street, and they're building a strip mall over there, and then after that, a hotel. I also have another business that I've been talking to for several months now that is very, very interesting in bringing 45 jobs to our town. And I think they're set to close on some property, which I can't give you the information on, within the next 3 months. So I'm real excited about that, because not only will they bring business to our town, but they will also want to get involved with our schools. I really hope that everything.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. And I do apologize for actually stopping y'all when you get there, but the 2 minutes are the 2 minutes.
I agree.
And I so much appreciate you guys understanding that. Okay, we're going to start the question and answer period now, because I think the folks' questions are probably the most important thing that we'll do here today. And we're going to do it in reverse order, which means we're going to start with you and work our way back. And you will draw the first question if you'll come up and let her draw a question.
You're in the spotlight, Kim.
Okay, Kim, give me a good one.
What if they're blunt?
Thank you so much.
They're not playing. I didn't see that battle.
All right, so there will be 2 minutes to answer each question. You don't have to use the entire time, but you may use the entire time. However, at the end of that 2 minutes, you need to stop at that point, please. Okay, so thank y'all. Here's the question. How would you address the challenges our city staff face getting everything done that needs to be done for the city to run efficiently, such as timely audits, minutes, filings, reports, and then getting that information onto the website for the public? Now, I'm going to hand this to you. It's a lot of question there. I read it so that the folks know, and now it's up to you to answer it, ma'am. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, we're behind a year on the audit. We just finished the last one. So we're trying to catch up. I think that we need more staff. And I think that we need someone who is over all the staff, such as a city, I want to say manager, but that's not the correct word for our city. But I think we need to look back at that. We've got the city secretary, we've got the finance clerk, we've got the court clerk, we've got the water clerk. And all of those ladies are trying to learn all of this and do it all. And I think that it's actually needs another person here to help with that. As far as public works go, we did give them money to have another person on there if they need to this year. We also gave them raises to try to collect better people into our city. And I think that probably what we need to do, though, is we need to have a crew for roads and a crew for water and sewer. And until we do that, I think we're always going to be behind on roads, because the water and sewer people are always trying to catch up with all the problems that we have in our infrastructure. And they really don't have the time to do the roads as much as they need to. And I think we need some help with that. I think that going forward, we need to take some of the money out of the bank account, quite frankly. We've got money in the bank account we're not using. And I think we need to start using some of that for the people of our city and not just trying to hold on to the money.
Thank you, ma'am. You know, something I forgot to tell the folks before we actually started is the folks up here can actually see the timer. I've made sure it's up on television, so they know when the time's running down. Just so everyone knows, I'm really not being rude when I cut them off. They know the time's done. I'm just letting them know that we need to end it. If there's any questions that'll pop up on that, please let me know. If you'll bring the,
If we want to rebut on anything that's been said, when do we do that?
you'll do it at the end.
Okay.
That 2 minutes at the end, just take notes and use it as part of your closing statement.
Okay. I'm listening, my phone is for everything. So do not look at it, just
No,
pass it to
just
you.
pass it to me. I will give it back to you once I've read it, though. So the question is, do you feel there's anything the city can do to get more citizens involved in our different boards, commissions, and the city council? You ready?
Yep.
Go.
This is a constant struggle getting people involved. I think just as HOA president, and Alicia is here as our new HOA president, she feels the pain in getting people involved. One thing I did notice, if anyone watched the interview that Bill Creed and Nikki did with me, this question came up. And we're not getting the message out to where it needs to go. That's first and foremost. So we've got a website, great. Let's make sure it's updated correctly and timely. But then also, where else can we advertise that we need help and advertise that we need levels of expertise? How can we make it a rewarding thing for community members to come and do and feel like they're giving for the good and not that their time is being wasted? So it is a difficult task. There's how large is our city, and there's only, a handful here today. And some of them are already sitting on council. So, they're voters, of course, but we don't have as many people as we need to have here. So I would say first and foremost, let's make sure we're getting the messages out where we need to get them out, and let's devise a plan where people want to participate and feel like that they are doing for the good and that the time is not wasted. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question?
You get some exercise here. You won't fall
Oh,
asleep.
don't read it. I almost snuck a peek.
I understand, and I watched
It's
walk
like
it back
notes
to
in
you.
high school.
Yes, ma'am. I'll walk it back to you as
No
well.
worries.
Your question is, how will you respond to individuals with opposing views?
All right. How will I respond? Okay, let me let you get this
Ready?
started. Yeah.
And go ahead.
All right. So the few of you that know me may have maybe a little bit more abrasive of an opinion of me than what I actually am in person and how I would actually perform on council. I am very receptive to opposing ideas because we all came up differently. We're all from different places. We're all from different backgrounds. And it's that diversity that brings our community together. And that's what's going to help grow our community. So opposing views is simply just to hear it out. I want to listen to people, especially really opposing views, because if you're only listening to the people that are your own echo chamber all day, then you're not learning anything and you're not moving yourself nor your community forward. So I would listen to them, and I would absolutely engage in a friendly debate. If I feel like more strongly on my opinion than possibly I do on theirs, but I still want to discuss it and learn as much as I can about all sides so that I have an informed opinion going forward, because my mind has been known to change easily.
Thank you very much. Okay. This hasn't been working with you guys with the hat, so we're gonna change it up just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the hat. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir.
It suits you anyway.
Well, it is mine, so there's that. Your question is, if you are currently on council, can you tell us if you have accomplished any of your planned objectives and what those were? If not currently on council, what do you hope your biggest accomplishment will be? 1 second. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so good question. I am currently on council, we all know. So something that I wanted to accomplish whenever I came onto council was to be able to get involved with the operations of the public works, because that fits my personality and what my main background is. So I've been able to do that, and I've been able to make an impact, whether it be by sourcing things or by actually helping with my hands. There's been great enjoyment and fulfillment in that area. I still want more. I still want to accomplish more. I still want to see more changes in that area. So, and then the other part of it is that I wanted to also try to give what my knowledge has been in background, because I went from a technical side in my career into the business side of my career. I wanted to be able to add that part too. I haven't gotten there yet. So the operations side internally, not externally, outside of City Hall, I guess is a better way to explain it. So I have been able to get my, I guess, boots wet in the field somewhat. Not enough. I still got more that I want to be able to be involved in and help. And I think that I've made impact. It's kind of crazy. I actually just got something from the Public Works crew this week where they were thanking me, and it was quite humbling. So I didn't really realize that I had done as much for them as I seen them tell me I did. But again, it's not enough. There's more to be done. But at some point, I've got to be able to switch it over and try to help with some of the things inside the City Hall that I feel like that I can bring business-wise that may help us. And I've done some, but again, not enough.
Thank you. Okay, so next question.
Pam, wouldn't she go first?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're randomizing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, get it.
Thank you.
Let's go. Keep us on our toes.
Your question is, our city is growing. Do you think we are fully prepared for that growth? Or do you feel there are steps our city officials should be taking that they aren't already taking to prepare for that growth?
Oh, boy.
These are all big questions.
1 second. Go.
I do not think we are prepared for the growth. We have to have a mission and a vision for the city. If that is not happening, then people coming in will dictate what the city is going to be, as opposed to the city and the people that have lived here for so many years have an opinion. So if, what's that phrase? By doing nothing, that's still an action. By doing nothing, something will happen to you. So we are not prepared. We're not prepared in a lot of ways, which these guys already know, roads and water and basic infrastructure. But it's the chicken and the egg scenario. We don't have the money and the funds to fix those major problems as people are moving in, but we need the people to move in to get the money to fix the problems. So all I can say is we're not ready, but the sooner we can come together and decide what our mission and vision is and move 1,000% over that, to that, towards that, a 5-year, 10-year, a 15-year plan, we will get there and it will work itself out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just. It jumped out at me, so we'll go with it.
As long as I'm not picking, we're good. All righty, your question is, what type of changes would you like to see in West Tawakoni? Ready? Go.
Sir. As I said, I came out here full-time about 11 years ago, and when I came out here, Margie's was a full-on deli, grocery store, hot food. They had everything you could want before you head out to the lake. We had a catfish restaurant. We had so many places to stay here and eat, and again, spend our money here in town. And that's what I think has drastically changed in the decade I've been here, is we don't have that commerce anymore. And for some reason, the businesses don't want to stay around, or we don't have the money to keep them open, or whatever has changed has definitely shifted. And I would like to get back with some of these property owners that have these vacant, abandoned, and some of them dilapidated buildings that are along our main stretch, and hopefully get them to have a desire to fix their places up, at least put a for rent sign in the window so that it looks like we're trying to do something, and invite businesses to come park up and start making money in our town, because we do have the community and we do have the support. We saw it with Fat Cats. People were, I mean, they were busy all the time, and it was a fun environment. So I know we can do it, and I don't know why people ran off, but I'm ready to bring them back, whatever that takes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why do you think the city can or should, no, I'm sorry, what do you think the city can or should do to bring more business or support small businesses already in our city? And you go.
So I guess I want to try to echo a little bit of what Lana said. I think that we could get with these business owners, property owners, and, great idea. Try to get them to start trying to put up rent signs, or ask them what they're going to do, and maybe get them in touch with real estate agents if they're not going to do anything. And as far as business owners that are here, I think as a city, we could come up with programs that could incentivize, it's really hard for me, but anyway, I think maybe you can adjust it, to help them with their struggles, right? And whether it be through the EDC or through, which EDC is sort of a conduit of the city, right? But the city and the EDC maybe can come up with some programs that would help these small businesses with their struggles. And we don't know what they are until we ask, so whether it be if we help clean something up, or if we help, we used to have a facade grant. I don't know that that's really the right way to go. That doesn't really do a whole lot for their business. It might make the front door look good, but I don't know that it really brings any bang to the bottom line. But I think that we would have to build some programs. What those programs look like, I'm not sure, but it's needed. And we don't have a whole lot of businesses to actually have to develop a program for at the moment. There was something that was just done with one of the local businesses, and I think that's great. And maybe we need to do more of that. But it needs to be a business that brings back to our city. That I would say would be important, because, you could have a business here that maybe they don't bring back to the city, or nobody even knows what that business may be. It doesn't mean that it's not a good business to have here. It's not a good person to have here, but it needs to be something that brings back to the city or offers to our current residents.
Thank you. Damn. That way you don't have to stand up and bring it over to you. Thank you. Your question is, are there any incentives you feel the city could offer to property owners on 276 to fix up and possibly sell or rent their buildings?
Oh, I love that question.
I do too.
I love that question. Oh,
Ready?
I have talked to almost every business on 276, and I keep telling them that EDC has money to offer. And I keep telling them, we're there, we would like to help. Part of the issue, I think, is that people don't realize that we can do that. And we're trying to get that more and more. And we have our EDC website, and there's spots on there that you can go and you could find out what the EDC can offer in the way of incentives. And just like Fat Cats. We just gave them the loan with the idea in mind that at the end of this year, they have the potential of getting almost all the money that they paid into that loan back from them. And we will do that every year as an incentive. So we have a lot of things that we can do. It's a matter of people coming to us and letting us know, particularly letting us know before their business closes, is what I really want to tell people, is if they will please come and ask. There's a lot we can do and we need to do. And I want to continue offering that to anyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I did pass a lot of notes in high school.
The force of habit.
It is, it is.
What does it say?
It's like muscle memory.
What does it say?
The question is, do you feel there is a need for an ordinance that says someone cannot be on more than one board?
What an excellent question.
Ready? Begin.
I definitely won't take the whole 2 minutes on this one because I think it's pretty short and simple as far as my opinion on this goes. I think that our current council members, if you guys elect somebody to sit at this table, that's where their focus needs to be, on the agenda that gets put on this table. They don't need to be dilly-dallying in 7 other committees or boards or whatever. They need to devote their time here. And if they're on something else and that's their priority, they need to devote their time to that and not tease us with their presence or lack of presence here.
Thank you.
Excellent.
That was
Fantastic.
Got loud about that one.
They're stuck, aren't they?
Yeah, there's like 3.
There you go. Thank you.
pick all three.
That's
Well,
perfect.
I will, it's no problem.
It'll actually wind up just perfect. Your question is, the most recent data shows a median average household income of $48,984 and a poverty rate of 20.7% in the city. How can we as a community ensure those on the lowest end are able to keep their properties while also enhancing the quality of life in West Tawakoni? Ready?
That's a deep one.
Go.
So it is a very well-known problem. You know, the city can do what we can do is being good stewards of the money and do the best that we can with the monies that come in from taxes. I mean, unfortunately, the problem is going to be just like the entire country. You know, the city is going to have increases, and it's tough. We can't not have increases when bread costs more and gas costs more, right? So there's going to be increases across the board. Now, the city can be smart and be good stewards and maybe make that increase a little bit less impactful on our citizens. You know, if we're good with what we're doing and we're diligent, then maybe it doesn't have to be as strong as it is on the higher level. We can make our impact a little bit better. And I think that we've been doing that. And quite honestly, we've actually been very, I guess the best word to say is laxy-daisy on some of the increases, because, you know, we should have probably had water increases in our city more than what we have, because if you look around surrounding cities, although our water rates, I know everybody always hates to hear them, that they're expensive, and I don't disagree. But I also, being involved, I know what it costs for us to treat the water and get the water out to our citizens. So that part of it, looking at the P&L, is like astonishing, you know, at what we're charging on rates. Other cities and municipalities around us have had one or more increases in this past year. One close to us has had 3. So we haven't had those. So I think that the city has done a decent job by not having increases, but I don't know that it was doing the city just, right? Because we weren't doing increases, but it was costing us more. Just like it cost all of us more to go to the gas pump, it was costing the city more to buy the chemicals and the parts and everything it was to treat and make the water that we all get to our homes. So,
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Where's it? There it is.
As everyone can see, that the hat is empty, but I do have an idea.
So, the rabbit hand?
No, not yet. Magic is not one of my fortes.
That's right.
All right. Ma'am, your question is as follows. Infrastructure, roads and water are commonly cited as the most pressing issues in the city. If you agree infrastructure is the most pressing issue, what would you say is the second most pressing issue and why? If you disagree that infrastructure is the most pressing issue, what would you say is the most pressing issue and why?
Oh, I like this one. Okay, so whenever I joined the city council, I thought in my mind, what is the needs of the city that I need to look at? So I kind of went back to the hierarchy of needs that people have. And we need good air, we need good water, we need a place to live, and we need safety in our city, and we need the enjoyments of life. So the first thing that I did is I looked at our air quality, and we have pretty good air quality, no problem. But then I looked at the water quality, and I realized, oh man, we have a problem. And so whenever we look at that, then we got grants that helped us with our water. And now we're back on track with our water. We're getting things looking at that are better. So then we got the grant. We really worked on getting our water plant back in shape because it was on its last leg, quite frankly. Then I looked at, okay, so safety. What's the next thing if you're doing safety? Well, golly, we don't have a police department when I joined. So getting a police department was my next thing, was we need some safety with the police department. So we've gotten now where we have some safety that way, because you know what? We only had 2 of the county people that do this end of Hunt County. And if you look at that 2, you know if they're on a major wreck, they're not going to come in and help the little old lady that thinks somebody's breaking in her house. So we needed that. And then after that, then I look at roads and I look at the things that we need for that. And yes, I think we need to do something about our roads. Yes, we need to do something about our water rates. Yes, we need to do all those things. But we've got to do things in order that help the citizens for the long term, not just the short term.
Thank you. And the last question that has been submitted so far is, how will you incorporate feedback from the boards, commissions, city staff, and the public into your decision-making process as a council member? And how will you go about getting that feedback?
We can't run without feedback from the community. It's why you can't work in a silo. Thank you. I have passed out cards with my contact information. When elected, I will have my phone number out to the city citizens so they can reach me by phone as well. And I want to continue to get the word out for everything, everywhere we can, every place we can. So, number one, the city right now doesn't know that people are looking for, lost my train of thought for a second. Right now, the city general citizens do not know when the city council or the EDC is looking for any information. For instance, when Bill and I talked and he interviewed me, he said a similar question. And I said, well, Bill, you've been looking for a secretary for how long? Nobody knows you're looking for a secretary. So what are you doing as an individual head of this board, which he has now resigned from, to get the word out? So I just think it's communication. Just like one of the questions earlier, it's get it out everywhere we can possibly get information, use our local businesses to get information out, send out flyers, send out emails, update the website, put stuff in the library, put stuff up here at the city hall, put stuff where the box drop is for your water bill. Get information out everywhere, which we are lacking on right now. There's lots of different ways to use technology to do this, which I'm an expert in. So it is very achievable. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that concludes the number of questions that we received in from the general public prior to this. Is there anybody here who has a specific question they would like answered? Okay, then here's what we're gonna do, guys. We are going to go around, you've been taking notes, I've been watching it. So you have specific things that you want to speak on. We're gonna continue right down the line and come back around. Everybody has 2 minutes just to talk about whatever it is that you feel hasn't been addressed so far in these questions. Make sense? And if you need one of the questions, ask. I'll get them to you right now. You guys good, or do you need questions passed around? Sir?
I was gonna ask if in this process, if anyone has any questions that they think of, that we offered them questions and they don't have any right now, but they may have a question come up.
Just raise their hand.
Raise your hand, okay.
And
Everybody
make
clear on
sure
that?
you point it out to me, Jim, because I'll miss it.
Okay, I will. Thank
So
you.
get my attention and we'll
Okay.
make sure it gets answered.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. You bet. Let's face it, guys. You're the reason we're here. You're the most important thing. You're the reason I'm here, without a question. You're the most important thing. Getting your questions answered is the most important part of this, ma'am.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mary Hall. I'm the chair of Keep West Tawakoni Beautiful. And thank you, Judge, thank you. Thank you, Judge, for coming out today, and thank everyone for attending. I would just like to kind of talk about what she said about the committees and the communications and things of that nature. We meet every third Thursday here at 6:30, our Keep West Tawakoni Beautiful Committee. And I can tell you that there are 2 people in this room that have attended our meetings. We have never had success in getting our mayor, his wife, any of the other people in the community to come to our meetings.
Is there a question though in all that?
Yes, I just want to see what they think they would be able to help us to get more people coming to these committee meetings.
Yes,
and taking part in
Okay.
the committee meetings.
That's an excellent question. Did everybody hear it? Okay, where did we leave off? I believe you were the last one, so we're gonna start here, right? And what I want you to do is take about 2 minutes at the most and go ahead and answer a question.
Okay, absolutely. Mary, I want to thank you first of all for being here, and also I recognize the things that Keeping West Tawakoni Beautiful does for our town. I've seen what y'all been doing for a long time, and it's wonderful. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that, and it's the same advice I gave to the Market on the Lake. Both Facebook pages are being very underutilized. I think that y'all need to be making at least 1 post a day. 2, maybe 3, but also live streaming your YouTube meetings. That would be wonderful, because a lot of people don't have time to make it, because we have a lot of committees here in town. Like, there's a lot. And to expect people to be able to get to the Market on the Lake Committee, the Keep to West Tawakoni Beautiful meeting, the City Council meeting, the VFD meeting, the EDC meeting, the P&Z meeting, there's a lot. And I really think that all of these committees need to get on. I hate to bog down the city of West Tawakoni's YouTube with it. Maybe we need a Committees of West Tawakoni YouTube page where we can dump all of these committee videos, because the more you can put it out to people, the more interest you're going to get, and the more people are going to be like, oh, look, Keeping West Tawakoni Beautiful is doing this, and they need garden hoses. Okay, well, I can do that, and you get a lot more people involved in wanting to maybe donate for what y'all are doing for the community with signs and helping people with their yards, and even helping with your Facebook page. If I become a city council member, that's one of my intentions, is to help these people, the girls in the office, and anybody else that needs Facebook work and advertisements and stuff like that. I want to help you guys with that, because that is such the best way to get the community involved. That and Nextdoor.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we're going to continue around answering the same question. Sir, 2 minutes.
So, Mary, I think it's a great question that you asked. And again, I do want to echo what was said about you guys' committee. It's a great committee, and I appreciate all that y'all do. But again, in order to get people to come to meetings, I think that it's going to take more involvement by said committee. I mean, I don't think the council, I don't think anybody can get someone to go to someone else's meeting or committee function. It's going to take that committee. And, I think Facebook's going to be one of your best ways of going at it. But again, it was mentioned by someone, I think Jack or somebody, using our businesses and making sure that we're putting flyers out, or we're talking to business owners. It's constant communication. It's kind of like me in sales. I mean, the only way I'm going to get sales from a customer over and over again is for them to think, when they think cranes, they think me. So the only way it's going to happen for them to call us first, because there's 4 other guys that went there right behind me. So I've got to go there more than them, or I've got to talk to that customer more than the other 4 guys do. So I've got to be fresh in their mind. So the only way to try to draw more people to that meeting is going to be being fresh and keeping it current. You can't mention it on the 3rd Thursday of the month and expect next 3rd Thursday of next month, people are going to show up more than they did the last Thursday. I mean, I don't think that's how it's going, but the only suggestion I could say is constant communication, repetitive motion, and that's going to bring a different, that's going to bring a different result. A different effort's going to bring a different result. That's the only thing I could suggest on that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am?
So, just about everything that they've said is absolutely true. We've got to get more communication. I don't know really what's the best answer. It seems like it's just a handful of people here in West Tawakoni that will participate in anything. I think we need to get our youth more involved in things, and I don't know exactly how to do that either. Facebook is a good tool. Flyers are a good tool. All those things that they've said are good tools. But it really boils down to, we've got to get our citizens involved. We've got to reach out and get them coming. We've got this group of people that show up and come to these meetings. But it's the same group, and they participate in things, and it's kind of the same group, But what we need to do is, I think we need something that starts with the schools, that they become involved with what's going on in their towns. And then when we start getting them interested, then they can grow up into the roles of leadership. And we need to be mentors instead of fighters with each other. We need to work together to try to train people to be it. And one of the reasons, I'll tell you right now, why people don't get on these boards is because of all the cut downs they get from everybody else. It's very hard to be in a position where you're trying and you're giving all of your best to it, and people cut you down all the time. It's very difficult. And who wants to come into that? Until we stop doing that, killing our young, killing everyone who is working, when we stop killing those people, then more people will want to become involved.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to reiterate some of the Facebook stuff. Mary, thank you so much for the question. It's a great question because it doesn't only affect your group, it affects all the different groups in West Tawakoni, like Lon was saying. Social media and technology is actually an area of expertise for me. So I will tell you that I like your page, and I've been on your page because Kathy used to be in our neighborhood before she and her husband moved away, and so I'm very much aware of it. But it has never popped up in my feed, not a single time. So the fact that you guys have meetings or you're doing events, I have no clue. The only time I see anything is when you guys have a yard and someone signs saying, best yard or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, that's great. And I think of you, and then it's right out the door. So the algorithms with what Facebook does is if you don't have a huge viewership and a lot of activity, like Lon was saying, post, video, you are not going to be presented to your followers. Now, one thing I'm a huge proponent of is getting a Facebook page for West Tawakoni, and all of the businesses flow through that one page. If we've got one page that we can do thousands and thousands of followers and it's being posted on regularly, then we link back to your page. That is how we're going to get the word out. In addition to that, there is advertising dollars that the city has to help these businesses and organizations. We can be advertising the Facebook page. Not only does it help your individual organization, but it alerts investors outside of the community that this area is thriving and we should be looking in here to buy and grow. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chris? Got a couple questions? Judge?
Who do you want?
Oh, that's your
All right, raise your hands if you have a question.
Ladies first.
I believe your hand went up first, Chris, so please ask your question.
I'm a firm believer in ladies
All right,
first.
fine, ma'am. Well, trust me when I say we'll get to you guys.
My name is Alicia Lee. I'm the president of Arrowhead HOA,
Pleasure, ma'am.
and we have a lot of our people here that are representing our subdivision. My question is, I want to know what are you guys are going to do? We're the oldest subdivision with the oldest pipes, our roads, and my question is, what are you guys going to do to help our subdivision with our pipes, better water, our infrastructure? What can you do to help our subdivision?
Okay, did you get it? Get the question? All right, I believe we left off with, yeah, he'll be first, right?
First.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So the best way for me to start out to answer this, in our comprehensive study that we're working on right now, well, we're not working on it, but we've been discussing it. I think you guys are going to probably fall into the very top of that comprehensive study because it's a known fact. You're 100% correct in what you just stated. And it's also a known fact to our Public Works Department that anytime we're in your neighborhood, that we can replace, if there's a leak, right, there's a replacement of at least sections of pipe. So that little bit of effort, rather than any other time that there's a leak, we just repair that area. But what the point is in y'all's neighborhood that's being done is replacing a section of pipe. So that little bit of effort could hopefully go a long ways over time, but it's not the approach. But the second part of it is we are asking engineer firms and we are asking grant firms what's out there, because there's going to have to be something come down the pipeline that is going to be a shoe fit for probably not just y'all's neighborhood, but several sectors of our city that will cover your neighborhood. So my hope as a council person is we will find that shoe that will actually be able to fit several sectors of our city that will remedy the problems or the issues that have been going on for years. That's my biggest hope, because that's going to be the fastest way to do it. The other ways that we're going to be able to do it, they're going to be super slow, and they're not going to be very liked by all of us, right? By your residents or even anybody that's on council, because the money's not going to allow it to go very fast. So the grant's going to be the way to go, and hopefully we get one.
Thank you. Ma'am?
You really answered the question. We all we can do is whenever we have a leak is to try to do more than just that one little piece of pipe. We try to do this section over here and this section over here that it joins to it. And we continue to do that. And so our Public Works Director is really working hard to try to get that going so we can replace a little bit at a time. It's not just your neighborhood, it's every neighborhood that he's trying to do that with. The other part of that is, like you said, grants. We don't have this rolling bit of money that's just continually rolling into town. And no matter what we do, we will never have the billions of dollars that it will take to do it all. So we want a grant. We really want a grant, and we keep looking for grants. And we have a company, Go Grants, that has looked for grants for us. And we have worked with several different companies to try to see if there's something out there for the infrastructure. And we have gotten some that have helped with the water department. And we're hoping that we can get some more to help with the other parts of our infrastructure. But it's a time-consuming thing, and it's a very hard thing to get grants. Every other city in this whole state, every city in the rest of the United States are competing for those grants because it's not just our city that has that problem. It's almost every city that has that problem. Any city that's been in business longer than 20 years has that problem. So we just keep trudging forward and trying to do a little bit at a time and to make that little bit of time count.
Thank you. Ma'am?
So this is clearly something that affects both of us and several people here. That's how I started building my relationship with the city early on a few years ago when I was HOA president of Arrowhead, and so I'm very, very familiar with these problems. Glad to hear that this is underway, assuming a grant happens. One thing that, if you don't know anything about me, is that I like to dig in and move quickly, and I am a force. So I don't believe in sitting and waiting on a phone call and let's see what they do and let's see what that do. I get on the phone, I make things happen. That's what I do day in and day out for my job. That is how I am built. I am a driver. So I look forward to being elected and help drive this program. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. And I won't need the whole 2 minutes. This is not my field of expertise. I would definitely default back to Kevin, who on council has handled most of the water sewage situation, and also to Mike Stafford, who's our public works director. What I would contribute to this situation and what might help things move along faster is there's a lot on public works plate right now. They're not only handling water, sewage, but also the parks and the roads. And I think it would be exceptional if we could see maybe a Parks and Rec department created where that burden is off of the guys at Public Works, and we've got somebody that's at the park, maintaining the park, keeping the park beautiful, and also possibly in the future see a roads department that's dedicated just to the roads. That way the citizens, we can see the forward momentum happening that we want to see. And there's not so much of a burden on Mike Stafford and his crew, and they can possibly get things happening faster instead of waiting. You know, once the grants do happen, they can get the show on the road and get things fixed where they need to be fixed and prioritize these older communities first.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, folks, here's what we're going to do. I want to make sure that these two questions get answered, okay, without question. We're going down to 1 minute, though, to answer the question, because you need your 2 minutes to close. You have
one more question back here.
There was two.
There was two.
Oh, two. I'm sorry.
Chris.
I got this
Okay,
covered.
okay,
Jim.
all right.
Stay out of his line.
My it's only this big. Okay, ma'am, what is your question?
He had his hands up first. He's more than-
Chris, please.
Mine's really actually not, if I need to word it as a question, I'll take the Alex Trebek approach.
Okay, if it's
It's more of a suggestion.
if it's a statement, if it's a suggestion, go ahead.
Well, I'll do this then. Has anyone considered, for this, I guess getting the message out, like on the water bill, putting the website for the city on it? And then when you go to it, the first thing that when you open the website, the first thing that you see is links to the committees. And then encouraging on your videos and your YouTube videos, encouraging people to hit the, like notification or follow post notifications, subscribing to the channel.
Okay, so really what you're asking, Chris, is what ideas they have in order to publicize the city and to publicize the organizations, the committees.
I'm actually providing the ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, but you can do that later. That's your question. You want to know from them what they would do, correct?
That would be correct.
Thank you. Ma'am, we'll begin with you. 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, I love your ideas. I love your ideas. I think that's something that we need to investigate is putting the website on the thing. But right now, one of the problems that I know we've had with the website is whenever you open it up, it says something to the effect of not a safe site. We need to get that corrected again. I think we've done that before. But I think it's wonderful also to have on there, look at the committees, look at the subscribing page, things like that. I'm not a tech genius. That's the reason that whenever I did the EDC board, I got some really good people on there that knew tech stuff. And one of them was Allison Bell. which I really appreciate all that she's done. I know that our website for the EDC is very easy to navigate. It's very easy to
Thank
work
you.
with.
Thank you. 1 minute?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Great ideas. And my question is, why isn't this already been done?
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
So I have expertise in all of this. I am a tech person, so let me help, please.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Excellent idea. It should be done next month.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
So first off, if I remember correctly, and I don't see my water bill much because my wife pays it.
Nobody reads
No,
it now.
no pun intended, but I think our website is on the water bill the last time I seen it. I don't know. I was gonna ask that. Kim, do you know if it's on there?
We're going to get one to make sure.
It
Okay.
has been.
But anyway,
Has been in
so,
draft.
so these are
She
all,
said no.
no, so for some reason I thought I seen it on a water bill at one point, but maybe it was the old website.
I
But
think
all-
you're right. I remember seeing it.
so all great ideas. And again, I think we all have to come to the realization is it takes a village. It doesn't just take this council, and it doesn't just take the whatever mayor is sitting in the seat at the time, and it doesn't just take the staff that's here. So, you know, I'm thinking that this is maybe a good idea, that maybe we need to put a suggestions box
You should.
in our city hall.
Yep.
So people
Thank
like you
you.
can drop things.
Love it.
You know what, this rolls back to that question that came up as well, is what are you gonna do to reach out to the community to get their suggestions? So just keep that in mind as you go. Ma'am, you had a question?
Sorry, I had one written down, so let me just get right back to it. Every time I close my phone, it just goes
Get it
off.
safe.
But basically, it's that we know who's against who, but can we tell what isn't working and why it's not working? What we're gonna do about that without pinpointing fingers at anybody else?
Definitely don't pinpoint. If you point fingers, I'll stop it. Just so you all know, like, that's something that we
Within the
don't
city.
do. It's about you, it's not about other folks.
That was
so
pretty,
she's got a
that's
good point.
pretty.
And it will start with,
We asked.
I don't
Yeah,
think we
so
do the
just
days long
rephrase
enough.
Wait,
the
just a minute.
rephrase the question one more time.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
we'll even leave the first part of it. Can we say what's not working within the city, why it's not working, and what we're gonna do about it without pinpointing fingers at individual people?
That makes sense?
Yeah.
I can rephrase it if you want me to.
You can if you want.
Yes, absolutely, I will. So here's, and if I'm wrong, you let me know. What she is asking is, what in the city isn't working, and what would you do to fix it? Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
So every single one of these questions that we have been presented today are all things that are not working. So I've been quite clear in my answers. Number one, communication is lacking to the citizens. Number two, we do not have a clear vision and mission for the city. We are not getting enough citizen input. The citizens don't know what boards or clubs they can be a part of. They don't know when they're meeting. So the biggest thing I see here is communication. The second thing I think is very important is technology and building efficiencies into what we do, which I can tremendously help with.
Thank you, man.
Okay, I definitely have to go back with what Jack said. Thank you for your question, Allison. The communication's lacking on all fronts. I think that, like I said, I listed off the boards and committees that just came to the top of my head a few minutes ago, and there's a lot of them. So I think that more people would get involved if more people knew when the events were happening and what they could do to just maybe even help from the sidelines via donations or just hours volunteering with said committees or whatever on the tech side or just communications in general. So I guess, that's it. I want to see communications and the economy get back to where it was when I first moved out here.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir?
So I think communication is key, as far as being able to identify what is working, what is not working. I don't think there's anything that's not working. There's things that aren't working as good as they can. I think would be the way I would look at it. But until a person is a little deeper involved, maybe it seemed different. Because I can say my perception before I got on council was different than when I got on council. But I want to add to that, you don't have to be on council to be involved. Back to what I said in the last comment, it takes a village. So I think what we can do differently is be better about getting our community involved, our citizens involved. I don't know if there's a volunteer program that we start. Maybe we put a comment box or suggestion box on our website, virtual suggestions box, because the things that he just said a while ago could drive all these committees up on the charts.
Thank you so much. Ma'am.
Can I just ask one quick
Sure.
question? And it's kind of a twofold one. I've asked this at every single candidate forum that I've ever attended in the 10 years that I've been here. My name's Robin Myers, and I currently sit on the council, as many of you know. Why did you decide to run for council? And if you had a mentor, who would that be?
That is actually a very good question. So we're going to 1 minute each when we start. Thank you for that. I want to let the other ladies and gentlemen know that after this question is answered, we're going to go ahead and go into the 2-minute closing. So they have an opportunity to respond to all those other questions that were asked. The reason we did it the way we did it is so all the questions would have at least an answer and you guys could have more to think about. And then I want to open it up to make sure y'all have an opportunity to actually talk to them personally. Does that make sense? Okay, so do you remember the question?
Why we're running and who our mentor would be.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if I remember, it should be you that starts it,
I'll
correct?
take it.
Go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay, as I've expressed over the last hour, I feel like the city of West Tawakoni has stagnated. We were at a point of a lot of growth when people were coming out here seasonally for the lake and have a good time. And then over the last decade, we've started declining. And there's literally been minuscule growth over the last, I'd say, 8 years. And I would like to see something change in volunteering for these programs and helping the committees. That'll help a little bit, but it's not going to bring anything to the bigger picture. And I want to see the bigger picture grow. As far as a mentor goes, I'd have to hop in the DeLorean and go back in time. And I know that Calvin Travers was an excellent mayor to the city. That was back during the time when businesses were popping up and people were coming out to the lake for the weekend and buying lake houses and buying boat houses. And that's what I would like to see happen again.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir?
So I decided to run for city council because of a property owner, a business owner in the city said that they think that I could bring something to the city. That was my reasoning at the beginning. And then once I started digging into it, it was actually very intriguing. And then partnering with the fact that I live here, my kids live here, my grandkids live here, like, okay, this is a really good thing. So that's the reason why I decided. But as far as a mentor, I've never had any one mentor because I was raised primarily as father figure by my granddad, and he told me to learn from all others' mistakes. So my mentor would, I guess, be him, but it wasn't the things he did, it was the things he told me to do, is that you learn from others' mistakes because mistakes teach you better than any learning will ever teach you. So that's my mentor.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Ma'am?
I was asked to be on the council first before I was elected the second time. And whenever I was asked to be on the council, I had to go to my Lord, to tell you the truth. I had to pray a lot about it. I'm very religious, and that may go against me. But the fact is that I felt that this has been a calling for me. This has been something the Lord has wanted me to do. And I have a heart for this city. I really, really love this city, and I have a heart that wants to help this city. And so that's the reason that I came into it. As far as mentors go, everyone on the council has been a mentor to me. They have helped me through hard times and rough times, and they have taught me a lot, and I've learned to Google almost everything.
Thank you, ma'am. You ready? Go ahead.
So why am I running? That is an easy question. I think that I have a lot to offer. I've got a lot of experience in a wide range of things that the city needs, from budgeting to project management to technology to communication to advertising to marketing. I've had a really blessed career spanning 25 years where I've learned a ton. I've got a lot to offer. I actually have mentors. I think this is a very important thing that everyone should have. I have 2 mentors specifically right now. One is the chief revenue operator for a $30 million coaching program. I talk with him weekly. My second mentor is the VP of, she's like a general manager, but her title is VP of Client Services or something like that. She's a woman in Canada that I get along with really well, and she has a spectacular, admirable career that I want to emulate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That brings us down to the closing statements. And before we do that, I want to thank everybody for being here. Anybody who's watching online, I want to thank them as well. I love my community. There's nothing I would not do for my community. I'm pretty sure everybody who's here feels the same way about the community. Thank you guys for stepping up to both run as well as serve the community.
Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. But having said that, now we're going to go into stop. We're going to go into the 2-minute closing. The way we're going to do it is we're going to start where we started, and we're going to work our way through on the 2-minute closing, and you will close us at that point. After that, I want you all to stick around, because I want you to have the opportunity to approach them directly and ask them any specific questions you have, and have them answer it for you individually, ma'am.
In closing, could they repeat their names, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I bet they will.
I might not have.
All right, so really? Okay, well,
Just kinda-
that's okay. So what we're going to do is start with you, sir. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead. All right, so Kevin Featherston, I'm place 1. I'm running unopposed at the moment. I do want to make sure I do not forget, because I haven't fully announced this to anyone in the city, but I do plan on running for mayor when Mr. Jim Turnipseed's term is up this next year. So I will be running for mayor for that next mayor's term. There was a question that was asked. This is going to be my closing statement. So there was a question that was asked: is infrastructure, roads, is that the most pressing issue, or are there others? I think the question was asked to Pam. I want to clarify some things that were spoken there that I don't want, since this is going out on the web, I don't want people to think that we've ever had bad water. Okay? Because I have been now on council for more than 4 years and got really involved pretty quickly in public works. And I can tell you, since I've been on council, we've never had bad water. Okay. Now, we do have some problems with our infrastructure, whether it be lines, whatever, but our water has never been bad. Our water plant has always been a good water plant. It just had some control issues, which is the main thing that we're dealing with now. I'm very, very, very in depth in that. So we've needed to be able to make it more efficiently and make it cheaper, right? On the cost side. That was where our problem was. It wasn't really the result of the water. Our water has always been good. We've had problems where there's been boil notice, but it's because there was a leak and dirt has siphoned into the lines was the main reason why. So I wanted to clarify that. And I wanted to say again, I really appreciate any and everybody that came here today and maybe that's watching us on YouTube. And I want to thank each one of y'all for spending your time here today. And Judge, for you to spend your time to wrangle us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ma'am?
Oh.
No, don't get you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lana Massey. I'm running for seat 5 against Christopher Burkett. My goal and my intention is obviously to further the communication. I feel like right now, a lot of citizens feel unheard. And like Jack, I want to be right there on the end of the phone, on the end of the Facebook Messenger, whatever, however your best way of communication is, so that citizens' immediate questions can be taken to council meetings the very next meeting. It needs to be put up. If you ask a question, it needs to be presented to the council immediately. You don't need to be sitting back wondering, gosh, well, I mean, I asked so-and-so this and, it's bothering my whole neighborhood, but they're not, I'm gonna have to ask somebody else now. You guys, we're working for you. And that's how y'all should always feel, that your questions are answered and your concerns are being followed through and that you've got a voice. Because right now, I guess that's my biggest concern as a citizen is I feel like I don't have a voice. I feel like a lot of people get elected and they do their thing, but the citizens we get kind of overlooked. So I'm ready for that overlook to not happen anymore. And I'm ready for us to get all on the same page and full communication. And also, whether I win or not, Mary, if I can help you in the future with your Facebook and stuff, in any of these committees, I'm a full-time caretaker for my mother and my son. So I've got all the time in the world to devote to anybody who needs me. So just please feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I'm Jacqueline O'Connell, but everybody calls me Jack. It's spelled Jacq. I have a couple things, sort of rebuttals to some things that Pam has said that it's probably not a secret that Pam and I are running against each other. So my comments are going to be specific to a couple things that she said. Number one, I want to commend the mayor about getting the budget in order when he took over. From what I understand, it was an absolute nightmare. And the city council worked together under his leadership to fix that. Now, knowing the budget is very small and you can't, get blood out of a turnip. One of Pam's comments were to hire someone to help with what the ladies are doing in the city and overall just other jobs that need to be done. So what I'm about is removing roadblocks. So I do that for my employees, remove roadblocks and help people become more efficient. So there are lots of things from a technology standpoint that we can be doing through the ticketing system for the water, for online questions, all kinds of things that could be more efficient. So before going out and just doing a knee-jerk reaction and saying, let's go hire someone, let's audit the current processes and make us more efficient before we spend any more money. I'm Jack O'Connell. I am running for city council. I've got 15 seconds, but a lot more to say, sadly. So please grab me afterwards because I'd like to say the rest of what I couldn't do today in these 2 minutes. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am?
My name's Pam Reed, and I have been on the council for 2.5 years. And I would like to stay on the council because I would like to see some of the things that we have started finish. I know that there are some people here that would like you to believe that I don't do anything for the city. But I promise you, if you came into our household, you would see that I spend at least 40 hours a week looking for things that would help the city. I don't know if these other women can spend 40 hours a week. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. I don't care, really. What I can say is that I love the city. I'm working for this city. I'm trying to help all the different people in the city that I can, and it's not just the ones that you see on the outside me working with. There's a lot that goes on that you don't see. There's a lot that goes on that I keep working with. And if you think Jack is the best candidate, fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay to keep working for the city, even if I'm not on the council. I'm okay because I know what my Lord wants me to do. And what I will say to you is that if you want me to keep working for the city, here I am.
Thank you, ma'am. Candidates, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your openness and honesty. Thank you for your willingness to serve, because it is service. And everybody is doing the best they can at serving, and I appreciate that. Folks, it's about you all. So thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the mayor. Just so everyone knows, it wasn't disrespectful to the mayor. I was just simply making sure that the candidate was not interrupted while they were closing. That's all. And I know you had something to say, and you'll have an opportunity to, so please, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna tell Jack to kind of leave the turnip stuff, blood out of the turnip, kind of leave those things on the side. It's kind of a personal attack. But no, I appreciate everybody coming out. All the candidates did a great job answering the questions that was presented to them. They did a great job opening, a great job closing, each and every one of them. Very proud of all of them. I wish everyone well. There's a lot of things. They brought up a lot of good things that need to be done that aren't being done. I'm the first to admit I got way more faults than I've got strengths. But I'm building on those, and we all build on those every day. Kevin made a good point about learning from mistakes and things. And I think, failure is a part of life. If you're not failing, then you're not succeeding. You have to fail to succeed. You fail to learn. If you don't learn from it, then you're in the wrong business. But I'm a little disappointed that we're missing one of our candidates, incumbents, for place 5, I believe. I made it very clear in our last city council meeting that I expected each and every one of the candidates and city council member to be here. And I'm sorely disappointed that Chris wasn't able to make it. I don't know what that's going to do, but I'm real disappointed. I didn't get a phone call, a message from him or anything. Everybody's got my phone number. I'm the only one that I know of in the last, I've been here 10 years, and I've never known of any mayor to publicize phone. I've done everything but write it on the bathroom wall. And I take questions because I know I'm not perfect. I need that feedback. I need those phone calls. And I take phone calls that morning, noon, night, days, nights, weekends, holidays, whenever. I take them all the time.
And you're responding to Facebook comments.
I do. I try to do everything, but I'm not perfect. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, audience, for taking your time on this. I know it's time out of your morning. Hopefully you'll be able to rewind it and watch it again. I know I will. But anyway, thank you again.
Okay, that'll conclude the candidate forum.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to serve you guys.
And will this be posted online?
It's
Yes,
live right now, and
yes,
it'll be able to
go to
at home,
YouTube,
you can share it.
YouTube, and then do a search